What's going on, everyone? In this video, we'll be talking about credit card debt and how to get out of it.
Oh, say less.
I've been in a bunch of credit card debt myself and was able to clear my debts, so let me show you how you can do the same. With that being said, by the end of this video, you should have a couple of more tricks up your sleeve for managing debt moving forward. My first tip when it comes to eliminating credit card debt is to learn about the Snowball Method. Simply put, the Snowball Method focuses on eliminating the smallest of all of your loans as quickly as possible. And then once that debt is paid off, the amount that you are putting toward that payment would be rolled into the next smallest debt owed. Through this process, you would become debt-free by eliminating the number of outstanding loans that you have one by one. And you would continue this strategy until all of your debts are eventually paid off. Essentially what happens is that your debt payoff strategy snowballs, hence where the name comes from, and gets larger and larger from a payoff perspective, and the rate of the debt that is reduced is actually accelerated.
You smart. You very smart.
But don't worry, I'll walk you through a simple example later in this video. Essentially, the Snowball Method is a debt repayment strategy designed to help you pay off your debts in an easy to understand way. So let's talk about who it's for. This method is ideal for people who have multiple credit card debts with varying balances and interest rates and essentially feeling stressed out and overwhelmed by the idea that the debt balances that they have don't seem to be shrinking. So this approach gives a psychological boost to stay motivated while paying off debts. Now let's get to the example and talk about how to successfully do it. Following the Snowball Method, start by listing all of your credit card debts from smallest to largest, then make minimum payments on all of your debts except the smallest one. So let's say you had 3 credit card balances of $100, $300, and $1,000. Using the Snowball Method, so you would be paying the minimum payments for the $300 and $1,000 balance. That leaves you with a credit card balance with $100 on it, and the goal is to clear that in one go or as soon as you can, and then completely discontinue using that card. So what this allows for you to do is concentrate all of your debt payoff power to clearing one of the balances completely while paying the minimums on the other credit card balances. Then you rinse and repeat and focus on the $300 balance while paying the minimum for the $1,000 credit card balance. So using this method, what it does is it allows for you to focus on clearing your debts one at a time, which gives you the momentum and the psychological boost to get out of debt. It's important to also know that while we are paying off these debts, we aren't in the process of adding to the balance. Maybe a good temporary alternative for you would be to use your debit card or use cash to buy things until your credit card debts are in a more manageable spot. For anyone who has struggled with credit card debt, I highly recommend implementing the Snowball Method and see how that works for you. Like, what do you have to lose? At the end of the day, insanity is if you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So whether you're using the Snowball Method or another type of method to help you manage your debt, I highly recommend trying different things out so that you find something that works for you. Tip number 2 is to negotiate with your creditors. Negotiating with your creditors can be a great way to reduce your interest rates, lower your monthly payments, or even settle your debts for less than what you owe. This strategy may not always bear fruit depending on your situation, but in my opinion, it doesn't hurt to try, especially if you don't have anything to lose. Okay, so now let's talk about how you can negotiate with your creditors successfully in 3 steps. First, you need to show up prepared and have a plan. For negotiating with your creditors, research, have the following resources about your current financial situation ready to go and on hand. So know things like your credit score, interest rates, payment history. This will help you make a stronger case for why they should help you lower your interest rate or set up a more affordable payment plan. Secondly, ensure you're forthright about this process. Be honest about your financial situation and ability to pay. Explain why you're struggling to make payments and what you're doing today to improve your financial situation. Creditors are more likely to work with you if they believe that you're making a genuine effort to pay off your debts. Third, be persistent. Negotiating with creditors can be a long and frustrating process, but don't give up if you don't get the answer that you want right away. Keep calling, emailing, writing letters until you get a response that works for you. Moving along, here are some example outcomes of what can be achieved through successful negotiations with your creditor. The first is, of course, lower interest rates on your credit card or your loan. If you have a good credit score and a history of making on-time payments, you may be able to negotiate a lower interest rate with your creditors. This is important because if you can lower your interest rate, your minimum payment is going to be lower, giving you more debt repayment power to pay down your balances in a shorter time frame. Set up more flexible payment plans. If you're struggling to make your payments on time, ask your creditors if they can offer you a more affordable payment plan. This may involve extending your payment terms or reducing your monthly payments. Be honest about your financial situation and explain why you need a more affordable payment plan, and that should go a long way in terms of them working with you. The last potential outcome is debt settlement. If you can't make your payments and your creditors threaten to take action, you may be able to negotiate a debt settlement. This involves paying off your debts for less than what you owe. Be aware that debt settlements can have a negative impact on your credit score and may result in tax consequences. This is more of a last-ditch option. As good as it may sound, the last thing you want to do is go backwards on your credit score. I highly recommend getting legal or tax advice before going this route, because you definitely don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're compromising your credit score. Bringing it all together, negotiating with your creditors can be a powerful way to reduce debt and improve your financial situation. By being prepared, honest, and persistent, you can successfully negotiate and work with your creditors to improve your financial situation. Tip number 3 is to sell old stuff. So if you have items around your house that you no longer need, consider selling them. Basically, the goal here is that you can use the extra money that you made to pay off your credit card debt. This would be a great way to not only improve your financial situation, but also to declutter your house at the same time. To maximize your earnings with the side hustle, you'll want to price your items appropriately and take good photos to attract as many potential buyers as possible. Consider bundling similar items together to increase the overall value. Lastly, if it makes sense in your neighborhood, hosting a garage sale could be a great way to generate some extra cash quickly. There are a bunch of different marketplaces that you can use to sell stuff, such as eBay, Craigslist, or Facebook Marketplace even. But out of all of them, my favorite service to use right now is OfferUp. I like it because it's easy to set up, and when you make a listing, whatever you list stays on your catalog. That way, you don't have to keep reposting your items because your listing is expiring. Regardless, use the marketplace that you're most comfortable with, whether that's Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. The point is to just take action and make some extra cash. All in all, the extra money that you're making from selling old stuff is a great way to pay off your credit card debts faster. So for tip number 4, use windfalls to accelerate debt payoff. So if you receive a windfall, such as a tax refund or a bonus at work, instead of spending that on instant gratification purchases like shopping, traveling, or spending it on something frivolous, consider putting that towards your credit card debt instead. By doing this, you're forcing yourself to prioritize what you need to be prioritizing first, which is getting out of debt, so that you have a lot less burden on your shoulder and more flexibility to do some of the more fun things that you've always wanted to do now that you're not in debt. So if you get a big payout like a tax refund or a sign-on bonus, definitely use that to pay off your debt, because this will help you accelerate the debt payoff timeline and save money on funds that would otherwise go to interest due to a larger principal balance. On the flip side, you should treat yourself out every once in a while. You definitely don't want to be in this constant state of stress and pressure when it comes to pleasure and paying off your debts and managing your finances and all that stuff. So if you can strike that balance, it's a great place to be when it comes to managing your debts. If this video was helpful, make sure to subscribe to my channel to catch my future videos where I talk about improving your personal finance, leveling up your business, and where I share investing advice. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.